seen Space Marines in action in the Warhammer 40,000 episode of Secret Level. Much like the warriors in that animation, the Space Marine in your set is a lethal and unrelenting champion of humanity. My name is Emma and I'll be showing you how to build and paint your Ultramarines Captain. Find something to protect your table from any spillages. I have my cutting mat, but anything will do just fine. You'll also want a cup of clean water, some paper for a palette, and paper towels to dry your brush and take care of those little spillages. I'll be using my Warhammer versions. All the parts of the model are attached to the frame and have numbers on them. This will indicate what order you need to build in. So grab the frame and find part 1, the back of the model with his cape. You'll see a small arrow pointing towards this frame, and all you need to do is push gently on the part of the model attached to this area. This will snap away and make it looser so you can wiggle the piece and it will come away from the rest of the connectors like so. It's nice and easy. Now you have part 1, you'll need to pick a head. For this guide, pick number 2 and remove this piece from the frame, so now you have the helmet. Now you have those 2 parts, you can push the peg of part 2 into the hole of part 1, just where the neck starts on the torso. With a gentle push and squeeze, those are now together. You can keep repeating this process for each part in turn. So part 4 is the front of the body, and just click, wiggle and push together. Part 5 and 6 are the leg plates, so make sure you put them in the right way around. Part 7 and 8 together is the power fist and arm. Part 9 is his other arm and pistol, and part 10 is the tilting shield that fixes to his chest. Part 11 is the backpack, and the final part 12 is the base that he stands on. And there you go, one Space Marine Captain ready to battle aliens and traitors. Well, almost ready. He is missing his colours, so let's move on to painting him. Before opening any of the paint pots, just give them a really good shake, so they are fully mixed and smooth. As the model is bare plastic, you'll need to apply a foundation for the other paints to stick to. This is called undercoating, and it's really simple to do. All you need is Macragge Blue base paint for this. Crack it open and pop some on the brush. Just half of the brush full will do. Then just start applying it to the model. It may seem like the paint is struggling to stick and cover fully, but don't worry, that is totally normal and just keep going. Don't go back over any areas you covered just yet, or you'll pull off the paint and make more patches. Leave that first coat to dry for around 5 minutes. Clean off your brush for now so the paint doesn't dry out and stick into the brush. Then when that coat is dry, you can add another coat to fill in those patchy areas. And after that second coat is dried, your model isn't just undercoated, but it's also got its main colour for the armour down and done. Great, now that you've learned how to undercoat, let's start blocking in the colours with other paints. Wraithbone is great for the cream colour details, so open the pot and pop some paint on your brush and put the paint on the palette instead of applying it straight away. Then we'll add a little bit of water and mix them together. This helps to make the paint slightly thinner when you apply it, as the undercoat will be doing a lot of the heavy lifting of adhering to the model, and we want to avoid any lumps in the dried paint. But if you just want to apply it straight from the pot, you are very welcome to do so. For the Captain, you want to apply this to the inside of the cape, so take your time and give it one coat and leave it to dry. So move on to painting the small parchments and the loincloth. Also, the stones on the base need to be in this colour too. Once you have the first coat down and dried, apply a second thinner coat or even a third if needed. You'll end up with a smooth cream colour. But don't worry if you get a little bit on the other details for now, you can sort that out later. Next up is Retributor Armour, and this colour is for the shoulder pad trims, the ornate details on the shoulder and the knee, the relic hanging from the belt, the chest eagle, and the iron halo on the top of the backpack. There are also the laurels of victory around the Captain's helmet, just like the one Titus has in the episode. It is a sign of skill, loyalty and great deeds done in the name of the Emperor. Just prepare the paint in the same way as the Wraithbone and apply it as many coats as you need to get a lovely shiny gold colour. After you've finished with this colour, the paint water will need changing, as there are metallic particles in the water that can mix into the other paints. So give it a quick change, ready to move on. Now it's Mephiston Red time for the outside of the cape, the purity seals on the parchments, the decorative rope across the chest, and if your hands are steady enough, the eye lenses on the helmet. A good tip here is to make sure your brush has a nice sharp point. You could do this when you're getting your paint on the brush by rolling and twisting it like so. bringing all the bristles together. Just take your time and get those coats nice and smooth. If it gets a little bit messy between colours, don't worry, it's totally normal and you can tidy up later on. You just want to get the colours down in a nice solid finish right now. Great stuff so far. Your captain is coming together really nicely. Let's use Abaddon Black to paint the undersuit, which is the ribbed section between the armour plates. There aren't that many visible on this model, so just focus on the ones around the gun arm. Talking about the gun, we'll also be painting that with this colour too. There is also the holster and a few bits of piping on the power fist that needs this paint. Now, I've spoken a few times about waiting to tidy up any mistakes along the way, and this is the best time to do it. The reason to wait till all the colours are down before tidying up is to avoid adding too many layers of paint, which can add unwanted texture. Less is more in this case, so make sure everything is fully dry before you crack open any of the previous colours and get them ready to use, just as if you were adding another coat to the area. Now you have all those base colours down and it's looking amazing. You can make these colours look even better by adding a shade paint. Shade paints are very thin and slightly translucent colours that tint and add shadows into the recesses. To keep it simple, we have Agrax Earthshade for all the paints, adding that shadow but also some worn-torn feeling to the captain. With your clean brush, dip into the pot lid and get some shade ready to apply. Then you can start moving it around the parts you want to add colour to. As this is your model, you can pick wherever you want to start shading, but I suggest adding it to everything, as it will tie all the colours together, but lightly to the Wraithbone, so it adds a little bit of shading and keeps that cream colour bright. Just remember to paint those stones on the base to make them dirty. Just make sure you aren't applying too much, or it will settle and pull heavily into the recesses, and can make a bit of a mess. You can remove it before it dries by cleaning and drying off your brush, and then soaking it away, but only remove a little bit at a time, to avoid having a clean model again. A bit of grittiness doesn't hurt for a Space Marine. Then once your shading is dry, you can add a finishing touch to the base with Armageddon Dust. This is a texture paint, which has little bits in it alongside a certain colour to give your models a thematic place in the universe. This one is a sandy off-world colour, which is great for pretty much any Warhammer models. Now you can use a few different ways to apply this to the base. You can use the end of the brush or the bristle end, but I personally would try to avoid that, as it could damage the bristles, so just make sure you have cleaned it really well once you have done applying it. You could use something you have around the house, depending on what you have, it's really up to you. When applying it, you just want to be as neat as you can, so you don't get it on the captain or those stones, just around them in the dirt. When you have that all down, leave it to dry for around 30 minutes, and then you can even finish it off by painting the rim of the base with Abaddon Black. Congratulations! You just painted your first Warhammer model, an Ultramarines Captain worthy of joining Titus in battle. If you enjoyed what you painted and want to know more, Warhammer 40,000 has everything you need to carry on your journey. And if you want to learn more about painting Warhammer, you can visit one of the many Warhammer stores around the world, or check out the YouTube channel for more top painting tips from us. Thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye bye!